to the Most High and His Son, Yahushua. We're gonna get right into it. But, just looking at the news and stuff, we see how Russia and everybody else drunk some water right quick. Everybody else epping up for look like World War III about to kick off anytime. They talking about nukes and all that, right? So we're gonna get into just what they call the seven plagues, or the events leading up to the seven plagues and the seven plagues. You know, try to get a little backdrop of certain events that's going to transpire. And get a little better understanding of as we see things transpire in the news. And this is dealing with more so of future events. Um, a lot of that we had went through the seven seals and the seven trumpets. A lot of that was dealing with past events and uh, mixed in with current events and future events also. But the seven plagues is dealing more so just primary in the future. So yeah, we're gonna start off with Revelation 14 and 14, right? So Revelation 14 and 14. So it says, "And I look and I behold a white cloud, and upon it the cloud one sat like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle," right? So it's talking about the Son of Man, right? So let's get some clarification on who the Son of Man is, right? Let's go to Revelation 1 and 7. So it says, Revelation 1 and 7, "Behold, he come with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen," right? So we know that to be, Yahushua, or who the world call Jesus. So let's just jump to Luke real quick. Yeah, what's good? What's good? Shalom. Wanna start off by giving. So let's we're gonna go to Luke. We'll start at 27. We're gonna read the 33 real quick. So it says, "To a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David, and a virgin name was Mary," right? So now, just real quick, when you get into the Hebrew language, the word virgin just mean a young lady. Just a young lady that's old enough for marriage or to bear children. So it can be like between like 18 to 25 or something like that, right? So it wasn't until like the Renaissance era or somewhere close, around that time period, or matter of fact, even a little bit before that, but where this became a thing where, they took virgin as meaning like just someone that never had, sex before. That's also a meaning too, but not in our culture and how we will use the word virgin. So, anyway, and the angel came unto her and said, Hail, hail that are highly favored of the Lord. Thou art highly favored of the Lord, and the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and cast her mind with a manner of uh, solution. This should be. So she's just wondering, like, how can she, you know, have a child or whatever, right? And the angel said to her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God, and behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus. And he shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And the Lord shall give unto him the thrones of his father David, and he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and his kingdom there shall be no end." Right? So this is who we talking about. We talking about Jesus in the last days coming back. So when we get back to Revelation 14, And it says, and another angel came crying with a loud. So we know the man that's on the cloud is Yahweh Jesus, right? So this is Revelation 14 and 15. And another angel came out of the temple crying with a loud voice uh, to him that sat on the cloud, thrust thy sickle and reap, for time has come to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. Right? So so now here comes the angel talking to Yahweh Jesus, telling him, you know, it's your time to reap. Gotta reap, right? And like we was explaining before, when you're dealing with the Bible, um, like it, talks in allegory, metaphors, and it refer to people to plant life, animals, etc. Right? So now it's just, explain, it's comparing us to the vine. Um, so then it says, let's read it again. And another angel came out the temple crying with a loud voice unto him that sat on the clouds, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for a time has come to reap, and for a harvest of the earth is ripe. So now too, and also too, just a side note, um, just a side note real quick, um, too, that's how too, like, Yahweh shot it and who the world called God is not the same being, because the angel have to come and tell him that it's time for him to come back and do his thing, And like, the analogy you always get, like Goldberg or a fighter in the locker room waiting to come out. You know what I'm saying? But, he's sitting at the right hand of the Father, right? So, I'm going to go to Matthew 13 real quick and read the 24. We got to understand what he's reaping, right? So we gotta get an understanding of what the angel is telling them to read. So this is Matthew. We're gonna start at 24. In another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which is sowed good seed in the field. So he's saying that the kingdom of heaven is like a man that sowed good seed in the field. That good seed is the children of Israel. Okay. In another parable, but while the man slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way, right? So then it says, but when the blade was sprung and brought forth fruit, then appeared tares also, right? So now you got tares mixed in with the wheat. Because if you know anything about agriculture, and farming, when you look at a wheat field, you're traveling down south or something like that, or to the country, the wheat and tares look very similar. Like if don't know the difference, because they grow alike, they have similar characteristics, So, but it's tares in this wheat, and but when the blade was sprung up, okay, and so the servants, okay, but when the blade was sprung up, brought forth fruit, then appeared tares also. And also the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, dost not thou sow good seed in thy field? So the servants like, man, didn't you, separate these Israelites and, kept them clean, right? uh, yeah, from hence, then have it tares, right? So now we have tares, meaning it's people among Israel that's not Israel. You have like I said, you have people that's that can look like us, and all that, but they're not necessarily us. They're from other nations. I was about to explain that. So then it says, he said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Right? So that's so now jump back to Revelation 14 real quick. So now so his servant's like, yeah, so we're gonna gather him up. So 14 and so so 14 and 15, another angel came, and another angel came crying with a loud voice, said unto him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time has come to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. You jump down to 18. And another angel came out of the altar which had power over the fire, and cried with a loud cry unto him that sat that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sickle and gather up the clusters. Right. So now, right. So like I said, so he's asking him, is it time to reap? But he said, so now, but this is, but he said, nay. Uh, we back to Matthew 13 and 29. But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up their tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. So, so the so he's saying like, yeah, you don't want to gather up all the go do the harvest, because you might mistakenly grab up the tares also. So we gotta wait till they fully grown, so then we can know the difference. Then we can gather the wheat and separate the tares. That's what he's telling. Let both grow together until the harvest, and at the end time I will say unto the reaper, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in a bundle and burn them, but gather the wheat unto my barn. So this is, so when we get back to Revelation 14 and 15 and 8, so that's what this is how this parable come into play right here, that Jesus was teaching when he was with the disciples. So so now just real quick, right? Because like us Israel, we say that the Israelites is for the most part, we'll say that it's the so-called Hispanic, Native American, and so-called African American people, right? But at the same time, like I tell you in Romans, not all Israel is Israel. And so how we determine that, other than reading the Spirit, and because the Bible also tells you that the Spirit bears witness, and then Jesus also tells you that my sheep hear my voice. We go to Numbers 1 and 18. And so I want to get into the tares and the wheat. So this is important to understand. So, and I know this part right here is kind of, going to upset a few people, but it's just the truth of the matter. The truth is not always, what they call comfortable or whatever, or always to your liking, but the truth is the truth, because that's what, what was said. So, here we go. The Numbers 1 and 18. So this is how, we... So now, it says this now, Numbers 1 and 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees, meaning their lineage and where they come from, their people, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, right? So that's how we, align ourselves. So it goes by the father. So whoever your father is, that's who you is. So what these tares is, we got some people that, might have a Israelite mother, a Hispanic, Native American, black mother, but then their father might be from another nation. And sadly to say, they would be called a tare, even if they do have the phenotypes of their mother. And so that's what we're looking at in Matthew 13 and also in Revelation 14. It's the separation of who the true children of God is and the ones that been sold amongst us. So let's get back to Matthew 13 real quick. And it's going to tell you, because it might sound harsh, but we're going to hear it out Jesus' mouth itself, or who the world calls Jesus, the Haushai. So we're going to, We're gonna read back again. We're gonna start at 29. Then it says 13 and 20, Matthew 13 and 29. But he said, yea, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and then the time of harvest I will say to the reaper, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in the bundles, and burn them, but gather the wheat unto my barn. Right? So now we're going to jump down to 39. And it says, the enemy that sold them is the devil. So what that's talking about is during slavery and conquest, how the master used to come in and rape our women and put their children, have children with our women, and and then all that, procreation and all that stuff, that over time, like I said, during slavery and all the other conquests, when they raped our women, that's when the devil, that's why we call the white man the devil, not because the spiritual demon Satan, but his actions. And Yahweh shall call him the devil. Jesus said, the enemy that sold them is the devil. And the harvest is the end of the world. That's what we're reading in Revelation 14. It says the harvest is the end of the world. So when the reaper in Revelation 14 is telling them to go reap, he's telling them to go reap and gather the true Israelites, that is, you know, bloodline descent, and separate from the ones that kind of look like they could be us because they share the same phenotype, but their father might be from another nation. And so that's why we read Numbers 1 and 18 to show how Israel will, align themselves and identify themselves through their father lineage, and that's how they determine their tribe. So, like I said, I know it's a hard thing to swallow because, some of us, I got friends that got fathers that's from, different nationalities also. But, I mean, the truth is the truth. So, so it says, and the enemy that sowed them is the devil, and the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Therefore the tares are gathered and burnt in the fire, so shall it be at the end of the world. So let's get back to Revelation 14 and 15, right? So that's what it's telling you what the tares is. So, excuse me. So it says, and another angel came out the temple crying with a loud voice unto him that sat on the cloud, thus thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time has come for the reap, and for harvest of the earth ripe, right? Then, and he that sat on the cloud thrust in the sickle in the earth, and the earth was reaped. So he went to go gather the Israelites, and that's what Yahweh Shah is going to do. Is going to come back and gather us. So then, and another angel came out of the altar and had a power over fire, and cried in a loud cry unto him that sat with the sickle, saying, thrust in thy sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. Right? So now it's talking. So now Yahweh Shah, Jesus, went to go gather the Israelites. Now this other angel that came out with another sharp sickle, and that's another thing too. That's where Hollywood gets the Grim Reaper from. The whole imagery of the Grim Reaper with the sickle, they get it from Revelation 14 right here. And so so another angel is coming to gather the clusters of the vine. So let's see who the cluster of the vine is, right? Let's go to let's go to matter of fact, let's keep reading before we get there. So and another angel, I'm going to start back at 18. And another angel came out the altar, which had power over fire, cried out with a loud cry to him that had a sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle and gather the cluster of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And another angel thrust in his sickle unto the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great wine press, right? So now this other angel is grabbing these other grapes, clusters of grapes, and throwing them into this wine press. So let's see what this wine press is, right? So, cause like I said, we got to break this down, and that's why you go to church. Pastor not gonna tell you what revelation mean. They gonna tell you, oh, it's a, it's mysterious. They gonna, we heard it all, right? But we're gonna get some understanding, right? So we're gonna go to Isaiah, because Isaiah talk about this wine press, because Isaiah is a prophet and he seen this. So let's see what he saw. We'll go to Isaiah 63, right? So Isaiah 63 and 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom? So we already, if you've been paying attention, we've been understanding that Edom is the so-called Caucasian, the so-called white man. Okay? So that's who Edom is in the Bible. That's their ancient biblical name is Edom. So it says, who's this that come from Edom, dyed with dyed garments from Basra? So when you look at that word Basra, Basra is like it's an ancient city in Edom. It's Jordan today. Um, but yeah, you can Google the ancient ruins of Basra, and you can see how it looked. So, but it's talking about the Caucasian man. So it's a future prophecy. So it says, who's this that comes from Edom with dyed, just to let you know that, it's talking about those people. So, and who's this that come from Edom with dyed garments from Basra, that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in in greatness of his strength, that speak in righteousness and mighty to save, talking about Yahweh, talking about Jesus. So Isaiah sees Jesus coming from where this angel that we read in Revelation 14 had gathered these Edomites for the wine press. So he see Yahweh coming from that direction. So it says, wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments are like him that treadeth the wine fat, right? So now he's asking him, like, man, when I seen you earlier, you had what we read in verse 1, you had, glorious apparel, he, looking sharp, you know what I'm saying? So then, now he coming back looking all bloody. He's like, man, look like you've been stuffing on wine all day, right? So, and we read that in Revelation 14, where the angel gathered these people for the wine press. Then we see who's being gathered for that wine press is certain Edomites, not all the Edomites, but certain ones that Yahweh especially want to do damage to himself. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Yeah, he personally want to do damage to himself, right? So it says, so now this is Yahweh talking. I have tried the wine press alone, and the people there was none with me, meaning nobody helped them, right? They seen all the bullshit that we've been going through here in America. They seen all the heartaches that, oppression that happened to us through slavery, and all that, stuff that happened. And no other country stood up and said, hey, we got to do something, about what's happened to the black and Hispanic and Native American, all that slaughter and genocide that's been going on over there in those Americas. We got to do something. Nobody did anything. That's what he's saying. He said, I tried it the wine press alone. And there was, and the people, there was none with me. For I would tread them in my anger. Meaning, he's so mad, he don't need nobody with him technically. He said, I did it in my anger. So he's going to stomp these people out literally, like 8-pound stomp on these guys. Straight up and down, to the fact that his whole garment is looking like he's been playing with grapes all day. Alright? So this is what we read in Revelation 14. So when we get back there, like you see how the angel gathered a certain group of people, a certain group of Edomites for this judgment. So it says, I had tried the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments. That's what we reading about. So this is Jesus coming back. Who y'all call Jesus? His real name Yahweh. This is my Jesus right here. I don't know what Jesus they been teaching in that church over there, but this is my Jesus right here. All right, a warrior. Why you think they killed him? They wasn't killing. If Jesus was preaching the same stuff they was preaching today, they would have never touched him. He'd be the safest man ever. He was a revolutionary. He was a warrior, and we hear that right here. And it says, "In my fury, their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain all my remnants," meaning all his clothes gonna be bloody with their blood. And for the day of vengeance is in my heart, for the year of my redeem has come. Right. So this is what we're getting ready to see when we read Revelation 14 and 15, and that chapter. So that's just let's let's jump to Revelation. Let's go to Revelation 19 real quick. Go to 19 and start at 11. So it says, I saw the 19 and 11, and I saw heaven open up, and behold, a white horse. He that sat, he that sat upon it was called Faithful and True, and righteous he does judge and make war. So that's what he's coming to do: make war with these other nations. That's why we got a space force. And what's that other shit they got up there? The motherfucking Russian space station and all that. That's why they got all of that. He's coming to make war. Um, but it says, uh, he's, yeah, he's coming to make war. Then it says, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but himself. So nobody knew his name, right? What is his name? And he was he was clothed with the vesture dipped in blood, like we read in Isaiah 63 when he get done stumping these Edomites out. Lord willing, I can get a glimpse of that. um, and um, and his clothes was dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of God. Oh, there's his name right there, the Word of God, Yahweh. Um, where are we at? Then and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon the white horse, and clothed with fine linen, and the white horse, uh, and white and clean, right? So that's what that's what's about to, get ready to take place, right? And hold on one second, right? Slack, real quick, quick. Everything fall down. I mean, cool. Yeah, yep. Straight up and down. But yeah, so yeah, Slack, get back. Um, so yeah, so we got them, coming with, dipped in blood and handling business, right? So let's go to Genesis 49 real quick. Genesis 49, right? In 10. And hold on real quick. Hold this. Check on this. My bad, y'all. No, but yeah. So it will go to Genesis 49:10 real quick. So it says, "And the scepter should not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes," talking about Yahweh, Jesus. "Come unto him shall be gathered of the people," right? Um, so yeah, so say unto him shall be gathered on the people, and binding his foal unto the vine, because we read about that vine in Revelation, and which is the Israelites, and his ass's coats unto the choice vine. He washes his garments in wine, like we read in Isaiah 63, that wine being the blood of his enemies, and his clothes is blood. His clothes in the blood of the grapes, and the grapes are what we read about in Isaiah 63, the Edomites, certain Edomites, not all of them. So so let's go back to Revelation 14 and 18. Go to 14 and 18. and another and another angel came up from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry, and cried with a loud cry, that had the sharp sickle, saying, "Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the cluster of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe." So now, right? So now just check out Amos, right? Just see, about, because like I said, the Bible use agriculture and farming as a metaphor sometimes. So let's go to Amos real quick. Our dear brother Amos. Right. So let's go to Amos in 13. So now it says, "Behold, the day shall come that the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader agates him that sows seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and the hill shall melt." Right. So now Amos is saying that the plowman should overtake the reaper, right? So now it's talking about, so now the plowman is us, and so it's saying in that day we're going to overtake the reaper. The reaper is the so-called people who you would say like the oppressors. So it says the plowman shall overtake the reaper, right? But then let's go to Micah 6:2 real quick. And Micah 2. It says, hear ye, O mountains, the Lord, hold on, hear ye, O mountains, the Lord controversy, and ye strong fountains of the earth, and the Lord has a controversy with his people. So, and he will plead with Israel, right? So, let's jump down to 15. And it says, "Thou shalt sow, but thou shalt not reap." But hold on, right? And Amos, it says, "Behold, the days will come that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes," right? But it just said in Micah 6 that thou shalt sow, but thou shalt not reap, right? "And thou shalt tread the olives, but thou shalt not anoint thee with oil, and sweet wine shall not drink of the wine," right? Meaning, we're gonna for our work, we're not gonna, like during slavery. America made like $4 trillion off of us during slavery, so we didn't benefit from the cotton and all the agriculture work that we did during that time. And even more, and even so now too, like in certain you know professions and stuff. A lot of times we might a lot of things happen, how they end up taking people's wealth in various different ways, right? So So it says, ye shall reap, right? So now it says, let's go to Matthew real quick. Just jump back to Matthew. Right? So now it says, Micah 6 and 2 says, hear ye, O mountains, the Lord have a controversy, and ye strong fountains of the earth, for the Lord hath a controversy with his people, and will plead with Israel. For thou shalt, jumping down to 15, thou shalt not, thou shalt sow, but thou shalt not reap. Right? So that's, but it, so then it says that, let's jump to Matthew 13 and 39. It says, but the enemy that sowed them is the devil, and the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels, right? Excuse me. So, as we can see that, it's telling you that in the end times, we're going to overtake these people that had us oppressed. Then it says those sowers also that sowed those bad seeds is the devil, right? So we're getting an understanding of who these grapes is and the difference between the vine, which is Israel, and all these extra little grapes that grew from it. So let's go to Amos. Jump back, right? So go to Amos and start at 12. And they may possess the remnant of Edom. So like we read that it says the plowman, and like we read in how we'll read, we'll keep reading. So they shall possess the remnant of Edom, and we know Edom is the so-called Caucasians, the so-called European, and the mountain and all of the heathen, and which are called by my name, said the Lord that doeth. Right? So it says, behold, the day shall come that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader grace of him that sowed the seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet vine, and all the hills shall melt, right? So as we can see, it's going to come up, like I said, so the devil, the so-called Caucasian, is the one that is the sower that sowed the evil seed. But then it's telling you at the end we're gonna overcome. So just now just jump to Revelation 15, right? Because so yeah, like we see, like I said, it's dealing with future events and all that stuff, and how it's got to be a separation, you know between the true Israel and the ones that kind of somewhat look like they like us, and then for him to gather us, because for salvation. And so yeah, we're gonna go to 15 real quick. So it says, and I saw another sign from heaven, great great and marvelous, seven angels having the seven last plagues. So now we're getting into the seven plagues. So we have to show you the build up, to the seven plagues, on how some of us going to be protected from, this, this event right here, and how some of us going to have to, some of us won't, and so then you have the whole, like I said, we read about the Hawashai doing this thing and all that. So so these is all events that's transpiring while World War III is going on in the backdrop, or whatever, or should I say this is going on in the backdrop. So it says in boom, 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 and the seventh angel having the seven last plagues, I saw there were a sea mingled with glass and fire, and them that had gotten victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having harps of God, right? So now, the sea of glass is what you would call like the firmament. So now we'll be like, they will be like, as the bombs is being dropped on America and all that stuff. So they'll be like, you know, somewhat in a aerial vehicle, per se, and they'll be looking down through the firmament, and as they can see, from what they see, it just look like they looking through glass and just fire underneath that glass, and it's just like, just like an ocean of glass, right? I mean, an ocean of fire, right? So, that's good. So then, and they sang the song of Moses and the servant of God and the song of the Lamb, uh, great and marvelous in thy works, and the Lord God Almighty, and just and true are they, are thy ways, uh, King of the saints, right? So this was the ones that make it out of America, the 1/3 that's going to be saved out of this, because 2/3 is going to 2/3 of Israel is going to be taken down, going to die in America, you know, when the World War III kicks off through various different ways. Then all of America is going to be destroyed, um, when that kicks off. But then there's going to be that 1/3 of Israel that's going to be brought out of it, and those are the ones that's going to be joy, happy, and singing and all that cool stuff. And that's what the church is not teaching you. They're teaching you that everybody gonna be saved. All you gotta do is believe in Jesus. That's not what we're reading here. We're not reading that. We're reading that, you know, and especially if you link up all the other videos, we're reading that, it's a select few is gonna be saved. And then, and that's why, we gotta go through this now to understand this, because we've been taught so many years of, wrong about this, and so we don't understand. You ask the average person, uh, about the Bible, they don't know. And so we've been doing it wrong for a long time. And it's like fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go. So we gotta, try to understand what's happening. So, and it says, who shall not, so now, oh, real quick too. So the beast, we're gonna get into this too. So now, the beast would be the NATO and the EU. The dragon would be, NATO and EU. The beast is America. The false prophet would be the Roman Catholic Church. You know, so to simplify it, and well, not just to simplify it, that's just what it is. And so it says, and after, and who shall not fear? This is verse 4. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, in the glory of thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee. For thy judgments are made manifest. After that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of testimony in heaven was opened. Right. So then it says, and the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in a pure white and linen, having their breasts girded with golden girdles. Meaning they had like a little golden, almost like a little belt, bulletproof vest type looking, golden thing going on. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels. So the 7 vials full with the wrath of God, who lived forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke and the glory of God from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled, right? So we see, like, before these 7 plagues hit, it's a gathering of God's people, and a separation from what we might perceive as, also God's people. And then also a gathering of a certain class of Edomites, So we see people being gathered for different, reasons, right? So then, we're gonna go to 16. This Revelation 16:1. And I heard a great voice And I heard a great voice out the temple saying unto the seventh angel, Come your way and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went out and poured out his vials upon the earth, and there were fell norsums and grievous sores upon the man which had the mark of the beast, and uh, upon them that worship his image. Right. So now so getting to the mark of the beast. Now I believe the mark of the beast is a few things such as following the philosophies of America and just being a sheeple to whatever they say, and that RFID chip frequency radio what identifying device, whatever that shit called, that they want to put in everybody's hand or whatever. So so it's telling you the people that receive this mark, this radio, that microchip thing is going to end up catching these grievous sores. Then it also talks about people that worship the image. Now the image is white supremacy because the first beast, which was the Roman Empire, and like I said, so it was built off of white supremacy because the Roman Empire went and conquered the known world and subject everybody underneath them and all that. So then America, as they rose up, they, you know, perpetuate the same philosophies, took on a democratic system and, etc. So that 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 market of that image was white supremacy and in their philosophies and their way of life. And so then that mark is them actually chipping you, but that mark is only predicated to Babylon, which is America. So not all. They might have some allies and stuff that get down with it, but it's not predicated on the whole world. It's just predicated here in America on the people that will decide to take that mark or not. So yeah, then that 666 that's dealing with the number of Israel that's going to end up taking that mark, and that's going to be 66% of us going to end up following that way, and that's where the 666 thing come in. I know a lot of people want to get deep into the atoms and all that cool stuff, and it sounds cool in the numerology, but it ain't all that deep. 66% of us is going to take the mark. That's just what it breaks down to. So yeah, it says and the first angel went out and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sores upon the man which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as blood, and the dead men which were living souls died in the sea. So now it's talking about famine and all that stuff, because like you need water for everything. Like you gotta wash the food, you gotta grow the food, you know, you gotta cook the food, so you need water. So you turn on your faucet and it's coming out red, blood. Like what you gonna do? You can't cook anything with that. I mean, unless you one of them, but I mean you can't do anything like with that. And so that's gonna create famine. That's gonna create all these different diseases and stuff that comes with it, and all this different chaos that comes with it. Because when people are hungry, people do things. So it says, and the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers, and the fountains of water became like blood. Like I said, so everything is getting the whole water system getting jacked up. And you think the white men, them putting lead in the water on certain communities and stuff, how about Yahweh, the Most High God, putting blood in their communities, in their water system? So that's what we gotta, we got a God that will fight for us. And so we read about these 7 plagues. And, in the Bible they talk about the second Exodus. The first Exodus, God destroyed Egypt in 10 plagues. This Exodus, he gonna just do it in 7 plagues. So, then it said, and I heard an angel of the water, thou art righteous, O Lord, which art, was and shall be thou hast judged us, right? So it's saying that God is righteous for passing these judgments on America and the rest of the world that had their hand in our downfall and our, whole fall from grace. Because we just think it's our fault. We think, oh yeah, we just some dumb niggas. We just can't get it right, and we don't understand it's a whole system that's like built up to actually keep you down. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us just think, okay, you get a few dollars, now you cool. But we don't understand that, okay, you might have a few that slip through the cracks, but as collectively, our people is not doing well. And that's how we got to look at it. You know what I'm saying? We got to, not be selfish and look at it collectively. If one doing bad, then we all doing bad. But we look at, the elites of our people and think like, oh, well, they doing this, they doing that, so it ain't all that bad. But then you look at the elites of our people, what are they doing for the rest of the people? Not a damn thing. So, like I said, so that's what we got going on here. And it says in the where I'm at. So yeah, so it says, and I heard the angel of the waters says, thou art righteous, O Lord, which are vast and shall, which are which are and was and shall be, because thou hast judged us. I mean, like everything he's getting ready to do on this earth is just. It might, yeah, we might have our little tribulations and all that stuff that we gonna be, if we lucky enough to go through all of that stuff. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of stuff. But in the end, he's going to be just. Because you got to understand, he's fighting for us. We got a God that will fight for us. He's been watching all this stuff that's been happening for the last 400 years. And even dating back to when Yahushua was on the cross. He's been watching all that. And like I tell you, he's long suffering. Y'all think because stuff don't happen like that, you know what I'm saying, that, God is, just on some other stuff, or he don't, you know, or he ain't real, whatever you may be thinking. But he's long suffering. He's not, he's like the FBI. The FBI not gonna get you the first time they catch you doing a crime. They're gonna build that case all the way up. So then when they get you, they're gonna be just, like we read right here. Thou hast just, just right there, just like that. So now it says, for he has shed the blood of the saints. And who is the saints? The Israelites. He has shed the blood of the saints and the prophets. Who is the prophets? The Israelites. It tells you that in Deuteronomy 18:18. Only, we are the prophets. And thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. So the angels is praising God, saying like, you was, the coldest of the coldest for giving these Edomites blood to drink, because they have spilled the blood of your people. So this is what type of God we serve. This is the God that we serve, a God of vengeance, a God where it says in Exodus, he's a man of war. Alright? Yeah, God is love, but what is love? Following God's commandments. I can tell you in 1 John 2 and 3, right? But at the same time, so we got to understand who we serve. And it says, and I heard another come out of the altar saying, even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thou judgments. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and the power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. So now we're talking about these solar flares and stuff, right? These solar flares that's going to be popping up, because when these bombs going off and stuff like that, and, like I said, so it's, like I said, it's going to be like, destroying the atmosphere. And then you have these little solar flares also, too, that's going down. And, where we at? So then, and it says, and the men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which had power over these plagues, and they repented not, to give him the glory. Meaning, even after all this stuff happened, even after, bombs blowing up everywhere, the sun even coming down, hitting niggas with solar flares and stuff like that, like they Goku from Dragon Ball Z, mugs is still not going to want to get their stuff together and say, you know what? maybe something is to this. They still gonna be like, man, forget all that. They still gonna be stuck in their ways. You know, which is believable because when you read the story of Exodus, when we came out of Exodus, we seen all those miracles that he did then. We did the, we got to the wilderness, the Red Sea got parted and all that. Those are same type of people, same type of attitude. So we're gonna be in that same. A lot of us still gonna be in that same mindset, even when all hell breaking loose, which is crazy, but that's what's gonna happen. And it says, and men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of God, which had the power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him the glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness. They gnaw their tongues for pain, meaning they're going to be like in so much agony. They're just going to be just grinding their teeth and, this, they're going to be like, biting on their tongue just to take their mind off the other pain they got going on, you know. And they blaspheme the God of heaven because of their pain and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. So even after this, they still not repent. They still gonna be doing whatever. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the river therefore was dried up, and the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. So now this is kind of like I said, this is all going on in the backdrop. So now you got that, and we can Google this too. We can Google this. You can even use the damn Google Maps and see that the Euphrates is drying up. And the reason so, because like I said, freaking pave the way for the kings, so they can have a easy way to march into where we're gonna be at, to try to attack us. Which we'll get into that too. That's like getting into Armageddon. So so all of this is setting the stage for Armageddon at the same time. And so it says and I saw the third, and I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out the mouth of the dragon, talking about the dragon, talking about EU and NATO, because even with this going on, they still got some type of influence. Even with the World War III kicking off, they're not all the way destroyed, so they still got some type of influence. So it says in America, because America got bases like in every damn country, so the country itself might be to shit and destroy, government failed, but they still got these bases all over, so they still gonna be out here. So that's why it says the beast out of their mouth came. What did it say? And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon and out of the mouth of the beast. So the dragon being NATO and EU, and the beast being America. So they still talking shit like they ready to go, you know. And yeah, out of the false prophet. And for they are spirits of devils. That's why we call them devils again. Because the Bible calls them devils. And the word devil is just a Latin word that means deceiver. It comes from the word diablo, alright? Which means deceiver, alright? They are spirits of devils working miracles, go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to battle of a great of the great day of Yahweh Almighty, right? So now we kind of somewhat getting the precursor to Armageddon, because Armageddon and World War III is two separate wars. World War III is going to be going on, then all of a sudden it's going to break off into Armageddon. And that's, we're kind of reading right here, the little precursor where they're going to gather all the armies of the world together to fight against us. And, we're going to get into that next. I don't think we're going to have time today, but we'll get into that too. So, where we at? Yeah, for they are spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth, of the whole world, to gather them to do battle of that great day of God Almighty. Like I said, getting back into why they got they space force, they motherfucking Russian space stations and all this other little nuclear weapons
stashed on satellites up there and all that stuff. Cause they really think when Yahweh Shai come back, Jesus come back, they got a chance to fight him. They can meet him in the air and knock him off the sky or whatever craziness they thinking. And that's why they got it all set up like that. You know, because the elites, they know what's going on. Maybe the average Joe don't know what's happening, but the elites know. So then it says, "Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed are he that watches," meaning blessed are those that's paying attention to what's going on right now, watching the news and understanding prophecy and seeing the events and all that stuff and understanding what's happening. So it says, "Blessed are those that watch." And where we at? So it says, "Blessed is he that watch and keep his garments," meaning keeping your understanding, your knowledge, and your wisdom of this book. Because it tells you your wisdom and understanding is going to be your stability in these times. So understanding that we Israelites and understanding that we got to keep the commandments and come back to who we are and follow it in righteousness, and that's going to get our salvation up out of here hopefully, and and just keep the commandments to get So it says, keeping his garments, lest he walk naked, meaning you know, and 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 lest he walks naked and they see his shame, meaning like you get caught slipping or you end up just falling out of the truth and just doing going back to your old way or whatever. Then when that day come, now you're like, oh dang, I got to get my stuff back together, but now it's too late. Now you caught slipping, so now you caught naked. Being ashamed. So that's what the word naked means too in the Bible, meaning being exposed, being lacking, caught lacking, how we say, you know. So where it says, and he gathered them together in a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. So like I said, the river Euphrates is being cleared up. We read in Isaiah 63 him gathering these people for the wine press, and we read earlier in Revelation 14 about the angels coming to gather these certain groups of Edomites for this wine press. Um, so there, then we also read earlier about these nations coming, Babylon, the beast, them gathering nations together to come and fight, and they're going to be in this place called the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. And the seventh angel poured out his his uh his vial unto the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, "It is done." And there were voices and thunder and lightnings, and there were great earthquakes, such was not seen, such was not seen since men were upon earth, right? So those earthquakes is them nukes going off, them nuclear bombs exploding, causing these seismic activities and all this other stuff that happened, right? And the great city was divided into three parts, talking about America. When America get hit with them things, it's going to be broken into three parts. And the reason why it's going to burn so much, like under like what's they call like the Southwest, you have like one of the world's biggest, largest underground volcano. You got that. Then you got Yellowstone. Then you got Mount Shasta and all these other dormant volcanoes and all that stuff. So then, once these bombs start hitting this place, that's ain't gonna do nothing but irritate those areas and cause them to erupt also. You know. So it says, "And the great city was divided into three parts, and the city of the nations fell," meaning like their allies too went down with them. And the great Babylon came into remembrance before God, to give her the cup of wine of his fierce wrath. So like we read like in Genesis 49 about him trotting in the wine press, Isaiah 63 about the wine press. So here he's telling, it says the great city was divided into three, and the cities of the nations fell, and the great Babylon came into remembrance of the Lord to give her the cup of the wine of the fairiness of his wrath. And every island felt away, and the mountains were not found. So all these nations is going that that come up against the Yahweh, and during this World War III, they're going to be destroyed. And and that's the final plague. The final plague is when nuclear fire hit America. So and nuclear war breaks out. That would be the final plague. And like I said, that's not Armageddon. Armageddon is a separate event that happens. That's the byproduct of this final plague in World War III. But like I said, we're gonna get into that in probably next video or so. So I hope y'all got a better understanding of these seven plagues and what's certain events that's gonna be circling, navigating the whole World War III thing, and and how we're kind of gonna be saved, out of that, and you know, and all that, as far as like the 1/3 that's gonna be saved out of America, because 1/3 is too like is only predicated on America. It's not talking about because we all scattered across, you know, the whole globe, in different countries, calling ourselves different names, but just predominantly over here we known as Hispanics and Native Americans and black people. But over there we could be, something else. But here in America, two thirds is going to have to, is going to perish, and 1/3 is going to make it up. But then you're going to have a gathering of all the other Israelites from the other place, and they're going to have, like I said, we'll get into that. But so yeah, I hope y'all understand. Got a edifying, got a little understanding, and until next time, peace, shalom.